Ahoy, ahoy, welcome to a brand new edition of the Ramble on Reactions. With me is handsome Dan Knight.
And sitting right over there is clever Eric Muller.
And we are wearing our appropriate beach attire. Dan with his cutoff shirt and, man shorts.
Man-prees, morts, I think you're holding morts.
And I'm wearing as much clothing as I can because I don't like to show off.
I mean...
I am no Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's
or Zac Efron.
Good for you, Zac Efron. As a man who was forced to watch all three High School Musical movies, good for you.
And as a guy who's seen both Neighbors, holy shit. So if you couldn't tell, we're going to be talking about Baywatch.
Now, is his body better in this one than in Neighbors?
In Neighbors, yeah. He's huge in Baywatch. And
good for you.
It's kind of ridiculous how large of a person Zac Efron became. So we'll start there. Sure eye candy everywhere. We're not going to objectify
he's like
women.
5'4", but I mean, he is all muscle.
Yeah, you see him doing pretty much like the American Ninja Warrior in the movie. Yeah. And you're like, and then they're lifting refrigerators, which, you know, may not actually be refrigerators.
I'm sure The Rock actually did, because...
Probably.
But, good God. Good for you, Zac Efron.
So, Baywatch.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. There's a plot. It has to do with, like, someone dealing with real estate and drugs, which is, it's such... They tried to talk about it so much, and in the end, it's kind of like a means to an end. Like, this is another way for us to get the characters to do something and tell more jokes.
Okay, so let's do some positives.
Okay. The humor, when it hits, it is funny.
Yes.
It is... Like, there are some really good moments. I actually really enjoy a lot of the characters and what they're doing. I like the characters that they all put on. I like that you have pretty much The Rock playing his version of Superman. Like, he knows everyone on the beach.
Everyone loves him.
Everyone loves him. It's The Rock more or less playing The Rock.
Yes.
And he believes he is, like, the king of the beach, which is essentially his character. And then they try to make a three-dimensional character with Zac Efron.
Yes.
And it works sometimes. But I like it. All the girls are very funny in this. Like,
they all have good moments, good jokes.
Everyone has good moments and jokes. The tech guy, who they call the IT guy, and somehow inexplicably winds up on the team, and it happens early in the movie. He's very funny as well. He does a very good, funny, schlubby sidekick. Yeah. And the villain, like the characters, the individual actors playing the characters
work. The actors are fun. Yes.
Other positives. All right.
Zac Efron looks ripped.
Yes, which we already talked about. We might go back to that a few times. So as far as gripes and negatives, a few things to talk about here.
Okay, so this movie wanted to be 21 Jump Street, but the problem was it couldn't handle its humor right. Because they kept trying to jump from different humor genres. Like, they tried to do the meta humor, and then they tried to do raunchy comedy, and then they tried to do smart comedy. And, like, when they try to do comedy, they'll let you know by getting this close in your face with it.
It was that close, or I agree with everything he said. So much slow-mo. We get it. Slow-mo was an integral part of the TV series in the 90s, but they beat it like a dead horse to where they use it a couple times in jokes, but then they use it a couple times in serious, and then you're like, I'm so sick of slow-mo by the end of this movie. Like, if you would have cut it in half and kept the jokes, I probably would have really appreciated it. But the fact that they kept going back to it and used it like a trope, it was, that well was dry. And then the movie ends on a slow-mo joke, and I'm like, oh, I don't care.
And a bad one, too.
Yeah, not a good one.
Because, again, it's one of those moments where it's like you try to do surreal meta humor, and it doesn't work.
And that's the thing. I liked what they were going for. Like, they were trying to be 21 Jump Street, but it almost felt like a blend of, and I said this when we got out, he said the 21 Jump Street, it felt like there was somewhere in between 21 Jump Street and Central Intelligence, where Central Intelligence worked very well as a movie because the characters are very well defined and the humor happens organically. This time they're like, hey, look, we're funny. There's a joke, and there's another joke. And then here's a joke, but that one's funny because it's really restrained and it's played out well and it has room to breathe. That's a good joke. So I would say like 1 out of every 5 jokes in this movie is funny.
Yeah, that sounds about average.
So it's like it
and
was so
the
close to
action
being
sequences weren't that great and like really bad CGI.
Kind of ham-fisted. Like they're just putting him in there to put him in there. We got The Rock and Zac Efron. Let's make them do stuff. Yeah, it's just, it seemed like they wrote down a whole bunch of things. These are what we want to include in the Baywatch movie. How do we get there? And then they wrote a story around whatever set pieces they wanted to happen.
Right. How do we force this movie to happen, more or less?
And and so that's where the movie came from. That's where it went.
And again, I'm not sure, like, with the female leads, like, Are they purposely trying to be like sexist objects, or are they being smarter than that? And it was hard to tell with some of the jokes that they were trying to pull, especially with the CJ character. I had no idea what the hell her character arc was.
It was weird.
Yeah,
weird.
It really was.
But I mean, the characters themselves, they were good versions of themselves. But it was weird, and I have a hunch one of the best jokes in the movie was how they were pitching things that could happen on this beach, and then like Zac Efron, who's new to the team, is clearly saying like, "Oh, this is problems for the police." And if I looked this up, I would 100% guarantee they were saying storylines from the original series.
Oh yeah, they were.
To which case, that would be a great example of meta humor. That's one of the jokes where it's like, that's smart and clever, but like a lot of the other times it's like we're trying so hard to make you laugh that we don't need to.
Yeah.
Like if they would have pulled it back, it would have been a much better movie, but
if they smoothed it out a little bit.
It's a very uneven film.
Very uneven.
So grade this movie for me.
C-.
I'll give it a regular old C. Yeah, that sounds about right. You don't have to rush out to see this. This makes me slightly more apprehensive for Jumanji, but I'll tell him my theory off camera why I think Jumanji will be better than this. And
better writers and director?
No, well, character. I have a hunch about this. But I still am looking forward to that as well, because it's going to be a similar type of reboot property. So, thank you very much for watching this far. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share. Let us know what you thought about Baywatch, whether you thought we were wrong, whether you thought it was worse. So, sitting right over there is clever Eric Mahler.
And that's handsome Dan Nye.
As always, ahoy, ahoy.
Anchors away.